Okay, at the outset, my sincere thanks to Dr. Mitra for this opportunity. Next few minutes, I will be talking on novel slate technique in pterygium management. We all know that stem cells, its expansion and transplantation to treat a variety of ocular surface disorders is one of the most remarkable achievements in modern stem cell biology. And these stem cell populations comprise of 0.5 to 10% of the total cell population, and it is found in the skeletal muscle, skin, intestine, and eye. And these are the specialized undifferentiated cells capable of self-renewing, capable of indefinite proliferation, and responsible for cellular replacement and regeneration. So these are the cells which are present in the palisades of the port, and these are poorly differentiated cells having primitive cytoplasm and long cell cycle duration. These are the cells which maintain this normal corneal epithelium and acts as a barrier to prevent corneal neovascularization of the area. So if we look at the schematic representation of the limbal stem cells, these are present in the basal epithelium of the limbus and give rise to this limbal stem cells, the rotor limbal stem cells give rise to transient amplifying cells and the terminally differentiated cells and then suprabasal epithelium at the limbus. Some stem cells migrate superficially within the limbal area, and usually these cells go from this periphery to the center, and this corneal epithelium is renewed after every 7 to 10 days. There are various theories in the pathogenesis of pterygium, and saying it all first postulated that the pterygium may represent an area of localized limbal stem cell deficiency. So in this area, there is localized limbal stem cell deficiency. That's why there is conjunctivalization of the cornea and leads to this pterygium formation. And the benefits of using it all, but later the reports are various reports are available, but it is suggested that only amniotic membrane transplantation is not the procedure of choice for pterygium surgery. In those cases, we have to supplement with either congenital autograft or with other procedures. We have to do that. So, because this AMT, along with this limbal stem cell deficiency, it is this pathogenesis. So, it is speculated that if we include limbal epithelial stem cells over amniotic membrane transplants, the results may be better. In recurrent pterygium, which exhibits more aggressive fibrovascular growth pattern, and thus it is inclined to cause significant amount of conjunctival inflammation leading to symblepharon formation with motility restriction, corneal scarring, and limbal stem cell deficiency, making repeated surgery difficult and hazardous to perform. In double-headed pterygium, one has to harvest a large area of conjunctiva for autograft techniques, and many a time it may not be feasible in all the cases. So in these cases, one can do autologous slate, which is a relatively straightforward surgery. So the thing is that there is a destruction of the limbal stem cells by UV light, and that leads to this pterygium formations. And as I mentioned earlier, stem cells serve as a proliferative barrier between the cornea and the conjunctival epithelium, preventing the growth of conjunctival epithelium onto the cornea through contact inhibition. Sangwan et al. First described slate in 2012 as a technique for the treatment of unilateral limbal stem cell deficiency. Now it is even used for bilateral limbal stem cell deficiency. And Bugantes et al. That means that they first reported in 2015, and that this mini slate can be used for the treatment of pterygium. And in that series, out of 10 cases, they didn't have a single recurrence. So what are the surgical steps for pterygium? First is that you have to prepare the recipient eye, as like in all cases. Then you have to take the limbal biopsy, that is donor limbal stem cell preparation from the same eye in the primary pterygium or other healthy eye in case of recurrent pterygium. And then distribution of the limbal transplants over the amniotic membrane graft, and then placement of a bandage contact lens. So this is a patient who had this bi-headed pterygium. So it was not possible to have larger. This patient also had this glaucoma, so it was not possible to get this large congenital autograft. So we did this slate technique in this case. So this pterygium excision is same like before, that everything we have to remove this first conjunctiva, then remove this Tenon's tissue. Then go for amniotic membrane transplantation. with epithelium side up and stomal side down. And put a stay suture as mentioned by Dr. Jiangshu. Then over this corneal side, we have to glue it, as well as in the bare sclera also you have to put this glue and then fix this pterygium. So amniotic membrane is fixated and it is tucked on, in the underlying conjunctiva. Same way in the opposite side also it is done. So now amniotic membrane transplantation is completed. Now I have to take this limbal tissue from the same eye. This is from the superior bulbar conjunctiva. As Dr. Mohanto mentioned that we have to go at least 0.5 to 1 millimeter ahead of the surgical limbus to get this limbal stem cells. So depth should be around 80 to 100 micron. Then that limbal tissue is cut in small pieces. And then distributed over the amniotic membrane. It should be placed in this just inside the limbus. Now it is believed that these stem cells will proliferate and will go both this way as well as this way and will cover this defect. And now a bandage contact lens is put. So this is the same patient who had this double-headed pterygium, and this is the post-operative period after 14 months. There is no recurrence, and this is the area of this donor area. It is quite healed nicely. So again, Edney et al. They reported in 4 cases that SLATE can be helpful even in recurrent pterygium, and that procedure addresses a key pathological process in pterygium development and should be considered in aggressive and recurrent cases. This is a patient who had this recurrent pterygium. So as this mentioned earlier that in recurrent pterygium, first we have to go for superficial dissection and then go for deeper dissections. And so you have to remove all those fibroid tissues and amalgamated tenons area. And in all these cases, we have to use this mitomycin C 0.02% for 2 minutes. Then put this amniotic membrane over the bare area. And it is fixated by using fibrin glue. In all those cases, even though you are putting this fibrin glue, you have to use this sutures, maybe 60 Vicryl, because there is the possibility that this amniotic membrane may be displaced. So if it is displaced, then these limbal transplants also will get dislodged. So you have to better put some sutures also in these cases. Again, putting the stay sutures. Oh. Now I am taking this This is from other eye. I'm taking this limbal tissue from other eye because this patient earlier underwent this congenital autograft, so could not take the graft from that side area. So taking this limbal tissue from other eye. Then same way we are just cutting in small pieces and then putting over this amniotic membrane and putting fibrin glue and wait for 1 minute and then put this BCL. This is on first post-operative day. This is after 2 weeks. And I didn't have the this longer follow-up because this patient lost during this lockdown time. So another patient who had pseudopterygium with significant symblepharon. This patient had mortal metal injury, and so this technique can be modified to take a larger congenital autograft because here there is loss of congenital tissue. So unless you address this congenital loss of congenital tissue, then there is chance of recurrence of this again, this symblepharon. So congenital peritomy was made and fibrous tissue over the cornea is dissected by blunt dissection method using the spatula and then removed using corneal scissors. And then all those fibrous tissues are removed. So from other eye, what I am doing that, I am taking this both congenital autograft as well as slit tissues. So this is the area of limbal biopsy, and which I am taking, and then rest is this congenital autograft. So it should be very thin, that limbal tissue. Now it is separated from the graft, and now this graft is, that means congenital autograft is put over the bulbar conjunctiva. And then I am putting again amniotic membrane.
It's not running the video.
Is it running now?
Yes.
Okay. So I am just putting this amniotic membrane and then put this limbal tissue and then just suturing that amniotic membrane with tenon circumferential suture and putting a BCL here. And as because there was symblepharon, so I'm putting this symblepharon ring along with suture torsorrhaphy. So if there is any healthy corneal epithelium, this should be left undisturbed on the cornea as it is normal limbal epithelium with associated conjunctiva. So the biggest question is that is slit really beneficial in pterygium? The mini slit technique, unlike CAG, may offer many advantages. This procedure is likely to restore the normal anatomy of the limbus, as it is presumed to be to repopulate the altered limbal stem cells. This procedure preserves the superior conjunctiva, hence for future glaucoma surgery. This surgery is highly suitable in patients with a limited conjunctiva like previous multiple surgeries or patients who are having chronic cicatrizing conjunctivitis. So to conclude, novel slit technique in which AMG is combined with mini slit for pterygium management is quite useful. This procedure is quite easy to learn and believed to be an interesting solution for those patients who are conjunctiva to be preserved as much as possible. And this technique is suitable alternative to the current gold standard, considering its effectiveness and less recurrence risk and less post-operative discomfort, including other complications. Thank you. Thank you, Shantanu, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr.